Last topic. The red pill is a force for good.
I'm sorry, give me a second. I just got back to my house, so I'm taking off my layers. What were you saying?
Yeah,
Last
go
topic is
for
what?
it. The red pill is a force for good.
Is what?
A force for good.
Is what a force for good?
The red pill.
What do you mean by the red pill? Define it.
The manosphere.
Yeah, define its thesis. What do you mean by it?
Okay. So basically, let's see. So basically, the red pill is a framework of knowledge, and it's essentially a type of perspective that is designed to help individuals, specifically men, to understand the world of relationships, women, and intersexual dynamics. So the red pill I would consider to be a knowledge, a type of awakening or self-awareness to the truth of reality, that, such from the Matrix where, you were given the red pill or the blue pill. Blue pill is stay in the simulated belief, the virtual world. The red pill is understanding the grim reality of the situation.
Yeah.
So I would just consider the red pill to be knowledge of the truth of the situation, of the reality of, intersexual dynamics.
What specific truth are you looking at?
Well, this would be truths that are empirically, let's say empirically unflattering, but empirically true, such as things like women are hypergamous, things like that.
What do you mean by hypergamy? What examples do you want to look at? And why are you singling out specifically in reference to women and not about men?
Well, it can be both ways. It's most importantly for women because women's nature isn't as obvious as men's nature. I would say that men's nature is fairly obvious, and women are much more mystical than men, and they're much more complex. So that's why I would say it's a demystification of that type of knowledge. I forget what the other thing you said was.
You're saying that women are hypergamous.
Yeah, so, hypergamy. Yeah.
Yeah. So define hypergamy. Like, what exactly is a system that they're seeking out in men?
So hypergamy would be this idea that women seek to date across and up. Their status and attraction.
Is to define up.
So they would date up status and attraction wise. Status, attraction, money.
What is status? What is attraction? What do you mean by that?
So status would be status can be all forms of things. Status can be within a social friend group. Status can be within your career. It could be within your family. That's some things that status would be. Money is very obviously, it's like the money that you get from your job. And then what's the last one? Attraction. Attraction is another thing.
Okay, so what I just heard is women seek men who are desirable.
Yep.
Okay, that feels obviously true. I don't think there's anyone in the world who disagrees with that.
Hell yeah, bro. Welcome to the red pill.
Like Andrew Tate represents, for example.
Andrew Tate is not a representative of the red pill.
Okay, if what you mean by red pill is that like women want men who are desirable, that feels like obviously true. It is also true of every single other group in every single circumstance. Everyone wants desirable things and desirable mates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's just the surface level. There's a lot to go into depth, but that's basically the beginning premises, yeah.
Okay, but if the thesis is, like, if your thesis of how should government work is like, I believe in democracy, and then you're like, okay, democracy is libertarianism. I just believe in democracy. Like, we should just vote on the thing. That's not a coherent worldview. You're just saying that, like, democracy. That's your whole worldview, right? If what you're saying reduces just to, like, women want men who are desirable, like, okay, yeah, good point. But that's not like you're not like saying anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you the other points. So the first one is awareness. Like I told you, it's like the knowledge of understanding, how hypergamy works, sexual dynamics, societal expectations. Another thing is the red pill is with the knowledge, you are now able to protect yourself as a man or a woman. If you can study the red pill, essentially protect yourself using this information from people from deceiving or manipulating you. and then it just helps you build confidence, understand the way that people work, and that way you just kind of, I don't know, empower yourself. Um, and it also wipes away myths about, like if you have like some sort of romantic ideals of men or women, it strips those things away and it makes it more grounded.
What are the ideals that it strips away?
Um, like, how do I say this without? I think many men, and by the way, I include myself in this. I think many men, um, have a perspective of women that's overly flattering, I would say.
In what sense?
Well, like, uh, so I think that men are blinded by their infatuation with women, and it can cause them to do stupid things. Like, I'm sure you understand the truth behind, people paying for other people who will never reciprocate those feelings. That seems to be a problem to me, and I'm using very vague words just in case. But I think you understand my meaning. People paying for other people on, let's say Instagram or a fan site where they
Sure.
are giving copious amounts of money for unreciprocated, I don't know, feelings or something like that.
Okay, so the claim is it's bad when you're giving oodles and oodles of your money to models who don't care about you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just another aspect of it. But like, do you understand that effect? Like, I think that's
Everyone,
something that a lot of
you know,
men don't
there's no
understand.
there's no group of like society who disagrees that like yeah, it is bad when people give a boat like men give a boatload of their money to Instagram models, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
But
like
bro,
they're
that's
never,
why the red pill exists.
but that's not red pill. Like what you're describing is like every Catholic priest would tell you that, right? Every like progressive therapist would tell you that. There's no like who is the group that you're disagreeing with by saying that?
Bro, people don't know this, especially like how profitable do you think the OnlyFans industry is at this point?
Very. I don't know.
Billions, trillions maybe?
Not trillions, definitely not trillions, but like billions, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, depending
Well,
on how
if you add the overall totality of like the OnlyFans industry, I'm not saying only OnlyFans, but like modeling industries like webcam girls, things like this. If you have the totality of that, that probably is somewhere in the trillions. And I think that's why the red pill exists. It's for men who don't realize that they're hurting themselves. They are hurting themselves by doing this. And that's
so
just one aspect of it.
so this aspect is you should not allow yourself to be exploited by virtue of your sexual desire by people who do not care about you and are not part of your real life.
Yeah, that's one aspect.
Okay, that's an aspect that everyone agrees with.
Cool. How
So
about the mysterious nature of women? Do you think it's wrong?
that's not red pill because everyone agrees with that, regardless of their political affinity, regardless of their religious affinity, regardless of anything, right?
I mean, I'm glad you see it that way. I
No,
don't
no,
think lots of people see it that way.
no. If you asked like Kamala Harris her view, or you asked Rand Paul his view, or you asked Bernie Sanders, or you asked Donald Trump, they'd all have the same answer.
I can see that. I can see that being the
So like
case.
it's not a it's definitely not political. And I don't think it's religious because you asked the Pope or you asked any rabbi or you asked any, Sikh or Druze or, Baha'i leader, they'd all say the same thing as well. So it's not a religious affiliation. It's not a political one. So what kind of affiliation are we describing if it's everyone agrees?
Well, I would think it's a cultural phenomenon.
But
And,
we
oh,
agree.
by the way, yeah, it's a cultural
Everyone
phenomenon.
agreed.
Yeah, bro. I don't think I think a lot of people reject the red pill, but they just don't know what it stands for. I think that many people would agree with the
I
red
think
pill if they knew what it was. Like,
no,
what's
people
do you have a perception of the red pill,
reject,
or do you think I'm misrepresenting it?
and when people reject the red pill, what they're rejecting is the fact that Andrew Tate is an example of a guy who explicitly is in that industry, explicitly is a John, and explicitly is also a pimp, right? That's what we're
What?
rejecting.
Yes, I mean, like, you can reject those things, but you realize that's not what the red pill is. The red pill is descriptive, not prescriptive. Andrew Tate is a very prescriptive figure, and he kind of hijacked the red pill because what he did was he had this idea of hyper masculinity, and it's kind of adjacent to the red pill, which is like the social awareness of specifically women, because men are mystified by women. Women aren't mystified by men. I mean, some women are, but most men are mystified by women. Andrew Tate is this figure who's very entertaining, very charismatic, and he kind of rides the high of the red pill, and he also kind of raises its awareness globally. But the thing is, he's not actually an advocate of the red pill. He was using it as a trend. You know, it was very trendy for him. He kind of visited the Red Pill podcasts. He talked to the guys, but just because he did these things doesn't mean he represents the truth of the red pill. And that's just what the red pill is. It's the truth about the nature of humanity. It's the truth about human action.
When people are disagreeing with the red pill, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that the argument is that people are laying that they disagree with?
I think that people have a misunderstanding of the red pill, and what they think the red pill is like a bunch of people who are like a bunch of like rich, ripped guys who are like pimps saying, "Oh, you're a bitch," you know, "You're a bitch because you don't lift for 5 hours a day every single day, and I've got a hot girlfriend and you don't, and never marry single women." Like, I think that's what people think the red pill is, but that's not actually the red pill. There's like many, I guess you could call them like subcategories or like denominations of red pill, where you've got different figures. Like Fresh and Fit are popular ones, where they will take the descriptive force of the red pill and then they'll make their own personal prescriptions.
Let's stick with Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit are an example of two guys who live in Miami, surround themselves with idiot 19-year-old girls who have no substance to them whatsoever. And their show seems to be basically you bring a bunch of idiot girls onto the show who are barely 18, many of them in the porn industry, and like make fun of these idiot girls instead of trying to interact with actual women who are adults and who act like adults. And so they're seeking out the worst women, and then they're pointing out, look at these idiot women, they suck. It's like, yeah, there are 19-year-old idiot women. Like, okay. Am I supposed to be impressed that like Fresh and Fit are like making fun of idiot 19-year-olds?
I do think first and foremost they are entertainers, so their big thing is making fun of people and things like that.
Okay.
So I think that's definitely a big part of their brand. But
yeah, I'm fine with entertainment,
yeah,
but the undergird, like the reason that people have an issue with Fresh and Fit is because their show is they bring a bunch of idiot 19-year-old girls who are incredibly hot and stupid, and just like point and laugh at the idiot hot girls and are like, look how hot and stupid she is. By the way, here are her links so that ...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I understand, like I understand it's a model meant for entertainment, and it's not the most conducive to the strongest argumentation.
It's not just a model meant for entertainment. It's a model describing, like explicitly, the reason those girls go on the show is because they're trying to sell their like OnlyFans, right? That's the reason they go on the show.
Right.
So if I'm someone who thinks OnlyFans is bad, which I do, I don't like shows that are designed in order to advertise OnlyFans.
Well, it's not designed to advertise OnlyFans. That is a byproduct of the transactional nature of their show. So they're,
Okay,
as you know, their primary objective is to entertain people. And to
how does
entertain people, they need to bring in OnlyFans models. And a
how
transactional part of that deal is they have to promote the OnlyFans models in order to make fun of them, in order to make entertainment.
okay, say what you will of either InfoWars or CNN, right? Neither InfoWars or CNN bring on idiot 19-year-old girls and pointed laugh at them and say, by the way, link in bio.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible to do entertainment without relying on link in bio prostitution, right?
Yeah.
So the reason that I don't like Fresh and Fit is because they are pimps.
Okay.
I am against pimps.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so in as much as quote unquote the red pill, which I don't care about, in as much as quote unquote the red pill is a stand-in for this is a way that pimps are advertising, because I oppose pimps, I oppose the red pill, if that is what the red pill is. So in as much as Fresh and Fit are a component of the red pill, I oppose that component of the red pill because I think they're pimps.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. But but to be clear, the prescriptive nature of different podcasts, whether you agree or disagree with Fresh and Fit, the prescriptive nature of the podcasts like Fresh and Fit are not the source code. The source code, which is the descriptive force of the red pill, which is information. So the Fresh and Fit, they ride the wave of the red pill, and they use it for a entertaining business model to, like you said, make fun of OnlyFans chicks. And that's part of their business model. But they're using truths, and you can agree or disagree with them, but they do. Sorry, not Fresh, but Myron does make compelling arguments at points, even if
Okay,
you disagree with him about things. He makes
let's
compelling arguments.
let's say that here's a list of like real things that are wrong with our healthcare system, or wrong with, like, I don't know, real truth that is like actual things. Like I assume you're opposed to what's happening to Ed Snowden.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to make a podcast where I talk about the undergirding truth of my podcast is that all this shit is happening to Ed Snowden and it's bad. But I'm using my podcast, and the purpose of the podcast, in terms of the financial way that I'm using it, is in order to I don't know, like sell. Yeah, let's just stick with the same thing that it is. Prostitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm using Ed Snowden as a mechanism, even if Ed Snowden is real and is an actual problem. I'm using it as a mechanism in order to justify prostitution. So if you oppose to prostitution, you can simultaneously say, "Hey, Ed Snowden, yeah, that's bad. What's happening to Ed Snowden is bad for sure," and also, like, this specific show is not a good representation of the pro Snowden camp, because this is an example of a guy who's just wielding Snowden as a stand-in in order to hawk his prostitutes.
Sure, but I want to be clear here. The intention is not to sell prostitution. It's a byproduct. It's a
No,
byproduct
I don't
for
agree.
attaining value, for
I don't
attaining
agree.
money.
I think the intention is to sell prostitution.
How can you know that? How can you possibly know that?
Because if you look at the money that they're getting, all of those, like, that they read out loud, all of the shit that they get is all like, this dumb bitch, she's so hot, I would suck your toes kind of nonsense, right?
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Okay, so if that's the kind of nonsense that their audience is paying them for, what they're explicitly directly being paid for is, like, essentially, it's sort of like I mean, they're sort of they're simultaneously the advertising, but
Like
at some level,
indirect prostitution.
I don't know why you're laughing. Like, yes, they are pimps.
Bro, okay, listen. Anything that's indirect, I don't believe in, because
No,
if you believe in secondhand, third-hand effects, everybody's guilty of everything. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I don't agree. No, I don't agree that it's indirect. If I'm the pimp and I line up all my girls, right, and I say, "Here are my girls. You can fuck whichever one you want." LOL, right? And then you pick one, and then you take her into the back room, right? I am directly part of that trade.
Yes.
If Fresh and Fit line up a bunch of OnlyFans chicks and say, LOL, you can sign up for any one of their OnlyFans, and you sign up for one of their OnlyFans, they are directly a part of that OnlyFans transaction.
I don't. So what they do is they put the Instagram links to the OnlyFans chicks in the description, and that's a transaction. That's in the nature of the transactional deal. The deal is that they make fun of the chicks and then they have to give them some clout. So I guess okay, listen. Okay, I'll grant you this. In some way, it is like a form of like a third party. It's like a third party transaction where they're like, they know that some of the guys will go over to, the OnlyFans models because they're putting the link in the bio. But I don't think that's their direct intention. I think that's a byproduct of the value that they're trying to attain.
It is the direct intention of the.
And even if it was, why would that matter?
Okay, hold up. It's the direct of 8 people on the show of 10 people, 2 of them being Fresh and Fit guys, the other 8 being the sexy girls, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so for 8 of the 10 participants, it is the direct goal. For the other 2 members of it, their goal is to keep this shit up, to keep this system going. And so their direct goal is to continue to have hot 19-year-old girls with OnlyFans show up to their shows. Right? Mm-hmm. So like it's fun.
So the OnlyFans phenomena and the phenomena of like third wave feminism does benefit their businesses. I do agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so but like if you're, me or Fabian or you, and like at some level, I assume you're not making money off of this. I'm also not making money off of this, but like at some level, like I am building up my clout, right, by being here, and you are building up your clout by being here, right? You're like accrue value, and by participating in one another's shows and participating blah, 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 blah. I'm actually not recording this, but whatever. We are providing value to the other person, and that is part of the dynamic of what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The difference
is a transactional relationship.
Yeah, it's a transactional relationship. The difference is like I don't think that void all context, it is a bad thing for your show to grow. I think it's fine. Right? I might disagree with your views, but I certainly don't think that directly just the fact of like you existing is in and of itself a bad thing. The fact of your show existing is in and of itself a bad thing, right? Whereas I do think that the fact of the existence of these OnlyFans model accounts is a bad thing in and of itself. And so I think that it is very different for me to be advertising your show by being here versus having an advertisement for a prostitution ring, which is what the Fresh and Fit guys are doing on a daily basis.
Okay. That's a fair position. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that position.
So when I say I'm anti-red pill, I'm saying I'm anti that because I'm anti-prostitution. Okay.
Yeah, I would say, ironically enough, I would say the red pill is like a safety net against falling into the clutches of prostitution, because it's trying to teach you to understand yourself and women better. So understand men's nature, understand women's nature, and how to protect yourself with that information. So it is kind of ironic that like, there will be podcasts, that'll have that type of thing. Make what you want of it. But I think it's fine for, I think prostitution's fine I'm against it culturally, but I'm fine with it legally. I know, crazy position as a libertarian. But yeah, I think people should be able to make their decisions, but they need to be informed about the decisions they make. So, yeah.
Okay, people can make their decisions, but they should be informed about the decisions that they make. I agree with that. I think that it should be legal, not even just for prostitution. I think it should be legal to sell heroin. I assume you agree with that, right?
Yeah, I'm a libertarian, so
Yeah.
I believe in
Yeah.
all that.
Okay. So, but I still think that like you are monstrously horrible, and I disrespect you if you're advertising heroin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I think it's monstrously evil to be fresh and fit, to build your entire career off of selling prostitution.
Okay. I mean, well, number one, I don't believe in evil, but number two,
Okay,
I don't believe it's their intention to be selling prostitution. And
of
number three,
course.
I think it's mainly just for money. I think it's for money.
Okay, yes, and the guy who's advertising heroin is also doing it for money. But I think
Yeah.
they're a dick. I think it's different to be selling like hamburgers versus selling heroin. I think it's different to be encouraged, like, right? Like this is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if both should potentially be legal, they're morally not the same, and I'm morally opposed to heroin and to prostitution morally.
Okay. And I mean, that's good. That is good because that is the cultural, that is the fabric of society pushing back at things that are in a gray area in legal matters. And we need that defense mechanism for society.
But the
So
red
that's a
pill
good
is
thing.
directly antagonistic to my position.
No, the Fresh and Fit podcast is antagonistic to your position.
Okay, fine.
Not the red pill.
It is. So is the Whatever podcast. So is Andrew Tate. Who is it that you're talking about who's on my side and calls themselves Red Pill?
So as far as identifying people, there are multiple people that preach the red pill, but you would have to look them up. I prefer the what I would say is the originator of the red pill, which is the Rational Male. He's the one who created the book that essentially goes into the details of the descriptive nature of the red pill, and then he does make a couple prescriptions in there as well, such as like the dangers of marriage, the dangers of getting into relationships with certain types of females. But it is essentially just like understanding the nature of women and trying to protect yourself from that. But yeah, they do make calls that you probably wouldn't agree with. Like they're more traditional. A lot of people believe in polyamory. I don't know how you feel about that, but there's all kinds of beliefs in there.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is the Rational Male's most recent. Hang on, let me send this to you. Discord. How do I? There we go. I'm just sending you a photo of his most recent video. This is what he streamed yesterday. It is a shirtless woman, and I loved it in the Pornhub titling.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I would argue that this is not an example of a guy being anti-porn when he's literally like using a pornographic, like softcore pornographic image and the Pornhub font, right?
Well, I mean, yes. So like,
Newest video.
Wait, I'll answer you. But number one, the most important thing about the red pill is that nobody owns it. It's an open source book. So no matter even if every single person in the quote unquote red pill turned to prostitution or selling prostitution, that wouldn't invalidate the red pill. Number two,
wait,
as far as what?
Second one, it would invalidate the term. It might not invalidate the ideas that undergird the term, but
the information.
The utility of the term is defined by what people understand the term to mean. And so if all of the guys were horrible pieces of shit, it would absolutely invalidate the term, right?
Sure, the term, but not the. It wouldn't be the true concept of the red pill. You could change the
No,
definition, but you would be.
no, that's not how terms work. The true concept of what the term red pill is what most people mean when they say red pill.
Bro, it doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter. It's the idea.
I agree. The idea is not negated by virtue of a bunch of the people who support the idea sucking, but the term does get negated by the fact that a bunch of people who use the term suck.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean you're. It just means you're misinformed, right?
No.
That's all it
It
means.
doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I'm misinformed. It means that I'm correctly informed that this is what the red pill, the term red pill, means by most of the people who are saying red pill. Most of the people who say red pill suck. Right?
So, and
The term red pill sucks.
it does, bro. It doesn't matter. Hitler drank water. It doesn't
No.
matter.
No. Hitler drank water is not a problem, right? But Hitler called himself a fascist. I don't want to keep on describing actually, the swastika, according to ancient Indian history, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing wrong with the swastika. No, the swastika means what the swastika means now, right? Don't draw swastikas on shit, because now the swastika is no longer about the Indian whatever the fuck. It is now about the Nazis. And I think the Nazis sucked. And so the Nazis ruined swastikas for us, right? Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, that's fine. But like, that's actually a good example. The swastika. So the swastika used to mean a symbol of peace, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's fine that Nazis ruined the swastika for us, because I don't care about the swastika. I care about Nazism, right? I care about the downstream consequences of the actions of and the propaganda built by the people who were Nazis, right? And
I understand, but you need to understand where I'm coming from.
No, I don't, because I
Yes,
don't
you do.
think. Okay, let me rephrase.
Go
I
ahead.
understand where you're coming from. I think what you're saying is dumb, because I think that I don't value, and I don't think you should value, the term itself, red pill. I value the actual beliefs that are or are not valuable, are or are not useful to society, and quite clearly at this point, whether it was originally or no, and in the case of Rollo Tomassi, I think he was always a piece of shit. But yeah, I think that I don't care about the actual term itself. I care about the downstream consequences. I care about how it's being used.
It's fine, but like, okay, let me give you an example. I know this is going to be controversial to say, but let's say that Hitler was like the one who created deductive logic. Okay, let's just say that happened. I would still not like Hitler and all the things he did, but I would respect the knowledge that he shared with us on deductive logic. I would accept deductive logic and, in fact, implement it into my lifestyle, because the knowledge itself is true and helpful, even if he himself did bad things.
Yes, sure. If Andrew Tate had invented the concept of being anti-porn, then I would be like, good on Andrew Tate for inventing the idea of being anti-porn. Doesn't change the fact that he is still today, despite having invented that idea, pro-porn, and he sucks for being pro-porn.
Yeah, that's fair. But like, that's also the same thing that's happening in the red pill. So like, there is this idea going on that what red pill people are doing. Wait,
no,
what?
It is,
what?
Because Rollo Tomassi did not invent the concept of, hey, I think porn is bad. Lots of people have been saying for a long time that porn is bad.
That's just one aspect, but listen, hear me out, okay? What I'm trying to say is that people can have alternative motives or whatever, but as long as the information that they're giving is empirically sound and helpful for us people, then that is what we need to glean from. We need to understand that helpful knowledge and take that and apply it to our own lives.
Yes. When Vladimir Putin says correct things, right? When Kim Jong-un says correct things, they're not less right because Kim Jong-un is saying them. It doesn't mean that I respect Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
So fuck Rollo Tomasi and fuck Kim Jong-un. But it is also true that occasionally Kim Jong-un has said that, like, the sun is up there and points correctly to, yep, that is in fact where the sun is. And, like, yeah, he's not wrong. That is where the sun is. But, like, fuck you. You're still a disgusting, like, dictator, and I hate you.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And you're
Rollo
obviously
Tomasi,
that's a totally fine view to have.
I have no respect for Rollo Tomasi for correctly identifying that the sun is up.
That's you don't have to respect him. You just need the knowledge.
But my point is, I can get the knowledge from people who aren't Rollo Tomasi and aren't Kim Jong-un.
Well, no, because Rollo Tomasi is the one who initially aggregated the data and shared it. So technically, he was the initiator of the aggregation of the data.
Was the Catholic Church not anti-porn? Was Jordan Peterson not anti-porn? Were all major...
Porn is not the only thing. There's so many parts to the red pill. Porn is one of the parts.
Okay, so lay out part by part, like, what is it that they're doing that no one else is doing and no one else has the capacity to do?
So the biggest thing that they're doing, and if you notice this with all the big shows, the biggest thing they're doing is they're noticing that women aren't dating men as high rates as they have in the past, and there's a reason for this. And we're trying to understand the reason for this. Now there are confluencing factors, right? There's confounding factors. It could be economics. It could be that men are just not attractive more. It could be that women are starting to have higher standards. It could be a combination of all three. And that's essentially what the red pill is diving into doing. It's studying these things, these intersexual dynamics between men and women, and trying to pinpoint and identify why men are dating men less, or why women are starting to find men less attractive. And there's all kinds of ideas for it. Some ideas are that because we have dating apps, what's happening is we're raising the competition to a global standard, so that now the hotter guys are having to compete with less hot guys. And so more women are going to go to the hottest guys, because before we had dating apps, you couldn't see how hot a guy was in another county over or another city over. But nowadays, there's increased competition. That's one of the aspects. Another aspect is economics. Men and women have been, men have been dropping out of college less lately, and women have been graduating more. I'm sure you've heard the statistic. Women graduate 60% compared to men, who are like 40% in graduating from colleges or attending colleges, one of those. And it's this idea of we're trying to figure out why this is happening.
Okay, so the two things are, one, women are dating fewer men now, / find men less attractive, and specifically we have dating apps, and we're raising competition to a global standard. And the second is economics. And women are dropping out of college more, and the majority of college grads are women. Okay, so let's take that one by one. The women are dating fewer men now and find men less attractive. / we have dating apps and are raising competition to a global standard. Surely you grant that Orthodox Jews have been talking about that for longer than Rollo Tomasi.
Maybe, but I haven't heard it from Orthodox Jews.
Okay, they have been talking about it for a much longer period of time. Surely you would grant that the Mormons have been talking about it for longer, that the Amish have been talking about it for longer. Surely you would grant that basically every single religious institution has been talking about it for longer, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never heard religious groups talk about competition in the dating market. I've never heard that before.
You've never heard them argue against dating apps? Have you gone to church?
Oh, they argue against dating apps?
Yeah.
I still, gonna be honest, never heard that before. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't get out much.
You don't go to church, my friend. You should go to church.
Okay, I'll start going.
Ironically, go to church. Going to church is very good. Yeah. Every religion is against that. Every single religion would tell you dating apps are bad.
What's wrong with dating apps?
That they reduce everyone to the most stupid facts about them possible, that you're just looking at, you're literally flipping through people with no regard and no respect. and that
It's like
everything is
super superficial, basically.
vigilant bullshit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I get that, and I think that dating apps can be unhelpful, but I also don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because I think dating apps have helped people. I think dating apps have helped people find other people. There's negative and positive consequences to it for sure.
Okay. If the truth that the red pill is providing is here are some downstream consequences of dating apps, that has been talked about better by people who are not simultaneously hawking prostitutes.
Okay.
So I think it's probably better to listen to someone like Jordan Peterson or listen to someone like, I don't know, Dennis Prager. Like I even it can be right wing or left wing. You can listen to someone like you know anyone within the Chabad community, anyone within the Hillel community, within Judaism. I know Judaism better than other religions, obviously. Like they all will tell you the same thing about that. It's not something specific to like Rollo Tomasi.
Yeah. I mean, to be clear, it's
Well,
not about who's delivering the message. It's that the
hey,
message is being mass produced and sent
yes,
to people.
but yes, I agree. But my point is, if you are seeking out good information, the fact that occasionally X person tells something that is not a lie doesn't mean that X person is better than this other person who not only doesn't lie about this, but also isn't lying about this and this and this. And I think that there is nothing that Rollo Tomasi can offer that Jordan Peterson cannot also offer. And Jordan Peterson can offer a boatload of things that Rollo Tomasi either refuses to or can't offer because I think he's also stupider.
That's just not true. Like if you've so you have to listen to both of their content because I've listened to both of their content. But you have to
Okay.
listen to both of their content to understand the difference of the information that they're giving you. So they do both equal they both give valid information, but they give different kinds of information.
They both give valid information, but different kinds of information. What do you mean by that?
They get so Jordan Peterson is, he's a psychologist, he's a professor. So he
Yeah.
basically talks about those things, and then he's gone into philosophy, he's gone into religion. So he's pretty well rounded when it comes to like political issues and cultural issues.
Sure.
So he's really smart in a lot of aspects of the world. But I have noticed that Jordan Peterson doesn't seem to have as much good a grasp on intersexual dynamics than Rollo Tomasi is. And I know you're probably gonna hate that, but like you just have to watch his stuff to understand the kind of information he's sharing.
Jordan Peterson has managed to have a good and impressive long term relationship with a woman that he clearly respects for like 30 years. And Rollo Tomasi is a 45-year-old imbecile who is just like fucking prostitutes and probably not even doing that all that much because mostly I think he just like goes for long periods of time where he is like deeply alone and pathetic.
Bro, I don't even think you know who he is or what he does.
What part of that do you think is wrong? Is he
Rollo
part of
Tomasi is married. He's happily married. He has a family. He does a
Rollo Tomasi?
podcast on the weekend. He does a podcast on the weekend. That's what he does.
Rollo Tomasi is happily married and has been for a long period of time. Is that true?
Yeah, like 30 years or something.
I'm going to his wiki. Um,
Maybe it's like 20 years.
doesn't even say anything about his wife. He doesn't have a wife. According to Wikipedia, he doesn't even have a wife. His
Bro,
life on his is Miller was born on 2 April. They should fix that so that it always says April 2nd in America. That's bullshit. In Los Angeles, California, and holds a degree in fine arts and bachelor's degree in behavioral psychology, which he completed in his 30s. He married in 1996 and has a daughter born in 1998. Okay, so he did get married in 1996, and he's yeah.
But like,
You didn't.
even if you attacked his character, I already told you before, I don't really care about people's character. I care about the validity of their
Right.
information.
Okay, but the point is, I don't see the information that he's able to provide that Jordan isn't better able to provide. Is my point.
Well, because I'm not sure if you've watched any of Rollo's content. He has a book. Well, he has multiple books.
I
He's
watched
got
him
books. He's
argue.
got podcasts. He talks about
Yeah,
stuff. You don't have to disagree. You don't have to agree with him, but he does give information, and you can decide whether or not to accept that information or not.
okay, this is true of every single person who says things. Yes, I can
Yeah.
decide. Of course, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not an argument for his utility, right? That's just like, yeah, people exist and you can listen to them if you want. Of course.
Well, are you including his character into his utility? Is that why? Are you saying that
I
he could be
Jordan Peterson.
a big enough piece of shit to invalid or to override the
No,
helpfulness of his information, essentially?
no, I'm saying Jordan Peterson has a lot of life advice that is useful by virtue of a life well lived and specifically an impressive relationship with an impressive woman and having raised a daughter who clearly still respects and loves him. And like there is reason to see virtue in Jordan, and by virtue of the virtue that I see in Jordan, there is reason to suspect that he probably has reasonably intelligent things to say about relationships because I think there's good evidence to suggest that he is good at relationships.
Yeah, I
Both
don't
at
even disagree with you, bro. I don't even disagree with you.
okay, I don't think there's good evidence to suggest that Rollo Tomasi is a good father. I don't think there's good evidence to suggest that Rollo Tomasi is like a good husband. Who is his kid?
Bro, come on. Why
I,
does his kid matter? What?
of course, his kid matters. You don't judge a father by the quality of his daughter, really?
Okay. I'm trying not to be a fucking nerd and say like, "Oh, you're committing a fallacy." But like, listen,
No,
character when you talking about a character, I understand the importance of character because it can correlate to good information
it's
and
not a
good
fallacy.
character correlates to generally having good information. But at the end of the day, the
Not a fallacy.
information is what's most important. And if they're giving bad information, that's what you need to look out for. If they're giving good verified information, that's what you need to look out for. Use logic, not emotion.
It's not a fallacy when you're comparing people to compare people, right? If I agree that's not an argument against the ideas that he's putting forward, I'm saying as an argument of if people are putting forward, both of them, the same views on dating apps as Jordan and Rollo Tomasi do, both the same forward on dating apps, they're putting the same thing on the concerns about men's education, as certainly Jordan is also doing that. Certainly, there are lots of people who are arguing about men's education as being a problem, right? Um, that's not specific to like the red pill. So I'm asking, what is it that's specific to the red pill?
What is it that's specific to the red pill?
Yes, what is
It's
he
it's
offering that Jordan isn't offering me? What is he offering me that like so many other people that are talking about the same subjects aren't offering? Abigail
he's
Schreier, right? Like there's lots of people who talk about these kinds of things.
yeah, you can probably get all the information Rollo Tomasi has ever said off of other people, like a
Okay,
combination of different people. You probably could.
okay, but Julie Bindel is smarter and better educated on prostitution.
It
So
doesn't
is
matter. It
it
doesn't
does matter.
matter if the person is smarter than delivering the same information. It doesn't fucking matter.
No,
What matters is the information.
okay. But the point is that when you're talking about the education issues of men and boys, like the war against boys is a better uh, encapsulation. You will be more educated on those issues by reading The War Against Boys than you will by listening to Rollo Tomasi rant and also hawk a bunch of bullshit with sexy girls in the thumbnail.
Fair enough.
So then read the Roy Against Boys and don't listen to Rollo Tomasi. He's nothing interesting or useful to say.
You can do that if you want, but like the way I see this is, yeah, there's like other information that can be paired to make the information better or something, like you said with that book, like you can have more ideas. But Rollo Tomasi is just one stream of information from you can get from in multiple different sources.
When you're talking about you should be talking about comparative utility. There's a comparative utility to listen to Jordan Peterson because he has better and more interesting, insightful things to say, to listen to Christina Hoffsummers, who has more interesting and insightful things to say, than Rollo Tomasi, who's a fucking idiot and also a dick.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, yeah, you can listen to Christina Hoffman and Jordan Peterson and they'll give you great advice. And you can also listen to Rollo Tomasi and you can get some great advice. Or sorry, not advice, information. Not advice, information. He does give some advice. But that's up to what you think it should be. Okay. But yeah, that's not ultimately against the red pill.
Okay, so your argument for Rollo Tomasi as the red pill, but definitely not the larger people of the red pill with a much larger following than him, is that he is able to say things that other people are able to say better, but at least he's saying these things that other people are also saying and are saying better and have been saying for longer than him.
Yeah, like he's not the originator of the red pill. He's the originator, he's the coiner of the term, but he's not the originator of the idea. Like you said before, like religions have known about this idea, but the importance is that the idea has been congregated together and organized so that we can systematically digest it. And he has done that. Other people have done that, but he has also done that. And okay. You don't have to what?
Yeah, as much as he has occasionally said things that are correct and isn't all of the time hawking teenage idiot girls and their OnlyFans, like, yeah, I guess that in that sense he's sometimes doing a thing that's probably okay, but not as good as if you're just listening to Lila Rose, or if you're listening to Jordan Peterson, or you're listening to like any number of smarter, better people.
The main takeaway is that it's case by case, okay? He's probably said some dumb things before, but from my experience, let me finish. From my experience, he's said a lot of very useful things, okay? And we would have to do it case by case. Like I said with Myron said a lot of things that I disagree with, but he said a lot of useful things that have changed my perspective because the information itself was valuable, not because of his character.
Okay. If you are a gymnast, right, and your gymnastics teacher like abuses you in the locker room, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden their like advice on how to like stretch correctly became bad advice. But my point is, like, get a new coach, right? My point is that coach has like done some shit that's shitty shit for the coach to do. So it's time to get a better coach who doesn't suck and isn't a horrible person, right? Like,
yeah, that's fine.
Some of the advice can be good. You don't have to throw out like the good advice that that this bad coach gave, but get a better coach because this one sucks.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the beauty of the internet.
Listen to the Case Against Sexual Revolution by Louise Perry. Right? Read The Pimping of Prostitution. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen to Lila Rose's podcast. Right? Listen to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, bro, I agree with you. Information is good, and having different kinds of information, different kinds of ideas to challenge yourself is a good thing.
Okay. Yes, listening to information is good, but some sources of information are better than other sources of information. So even if sometimes you get a benefit from, like, yeah, if you listen to anything for 15 hours, you're going to listen to something for 15 hours from a different person talking. They're going to say something that's insightful and useful over the course of that 15 hours. It doesn't mean that every single person is equally worthy of 15 of your hours. Right? So going forward, other people probably more worthy of your time than Rollo Tomasi because he sucks and he's hawking prostitution. He's a dick.
All right, hey, fair enough, bro. Listen, fair enough.
And he's a bad father.
Okay, hold on.
Do you disagree?
Bro, you're saying a lot of generalizations. I don't think you even know him that well.
Wasn't Rollo Tomasi the one who was like literally? Hold up, I think I'm getting the right one.
Okay.
I'm like 90% sure that Rollo Tomasi literally was trying to encourage people to like follow his daughter's Instagram because she's like,
Hot?
yeah, hold up, yeah, he was like literally hawking his daughter's Instagram in like a sexually exploitative way. Yes.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure this was real. Give me a second.
Okay, that's interesting. Because as far as I knew, I was pretty sure he didn't want to get his family involved. So that'd be interesting if that was the case.
Hang on. I'm doing this. I didn't even realize we were going to talk about this subject, so I'm doing this on the fly. I apologize.
That's fine. I'm gonna have to go to bed in a few minutes, by the way. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
But no, while you keep looking for him, I'll just say another thing about him. Yeah, like I don't think he's. Personally, I don't know that much about him. I've seen some of his videos. I've seen some of his articles. I've seen some of his ideas, and the ones I haven't really seen anything I disagree with that much. I know that he is a provocateur, and he likes to be kind of edgy sometimes, and he likes to be a troll. Like he'll send out tweets and stuff that are very trolly, and he is a YouTuber, so he'll give like clickbait thumbnails. And he has started that thing with Michael Sartain where he does Access Vegas.
No, not everyone clickbaits by putting porn in their thumbnails.
Oh, come on, bro! A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that.
Jordan Peterson is not doing that. Lila Rose is not. It's not true that everyone is doing that.
I didn't say everyone. I said a lot of people.
Okay, but you're better if you don't do that, and you're worse if you do. And Rollo Tomasi is an example of a person who does do that regularly, including today.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, it's a marketing thing. They want money, they want views. I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm a libertarian, so we're not gonna agree on this, but
I'm a libertarian, and then like, oh, so therefore I don't care if you're trying to hawk heroin on people. No, hawking heroin is bad. Just because you're a libertarian. That's
you keep saying hawking. What does that mean? What does hawking mean? Like spitting on them?
To buy it, yeah.
Okay.
Advertising for.
Gotcha. Is that like hawk spelled like the bird hawk, or is it like a different kind of hawk?
O-C-K, hawking.
O-C-K.
I think it's like.
Huh. In debt? No. sorry. You were searching for the thing. No, you're right. You're right. Culturally, you're right. I am against prostitution culturally. So clickbaiting, clickbaiting women who are in suggestive poses is not something we want culturally. So that's fair. Okay. But I don't think it's like it makes you a really bad person. I think it just makes you kind of a whatever, kind of an edgy person or a little bit bad.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I wish I had known that you were going to talk about Rollo Tomasi because I am like 90% sure that what I'm saying is correct, but I can't find it on the fly, particularly given that my thing.
That's fine. I kind of surprised you with the red pill topic. You didn't really know it was coming.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm fine with you surprising me. It's just like I'm not able to fully engage as much as I wish I could. But yeah.
That's
Okay.
understandable.
Do you have any final thoughts, or should we call it a night?
Yeah, we can do closing statements real quick. For the red pill specifically. Like
Okay.
I said before, the way I see the red pill is I just see it as like a data packet. I see it as like an open source ledger of information that can be told by anybody, can be packaged by anybody. A lot of it will be lost in translation, as we've seen with many red pill gurus, many people like Andrew Tate. They will change the message or they'll alter it to fit their narrative. But at the end of the day, the red pill is just information, and it can be corrupted, or it can be used for, a beneficial behavior, or it can be used to hurt people. But at the end of the day, it is just information.
Okay. I believe that the red pill is a branding exercise. It's a term for a bunch of YouTube accounts and Twitter accounts. And in as much as the majority of those Twitter accounts suck, which I think they do, it's a bad term. That doesn't negate the quality of certain ideas, that some of the things that the red pill creators say are good, that they are not all of a sudden less good because idiots are saying them. But I think that if the majority of people who use that term happen to be idiots, happen to be people who are selling prostitution, happen to be people who are using prostitutes as clickbait, happen to be people who are shitty fathers, happen to be people who are running away from the law for like allegedly sexually abusing people in the past. In the case of Andrew Tate, those people kind of suck. And because they suck, the term also is sucky because it's just a branding exercise anyway. Cool. Let's call it a night.